Hello everybody, and welcome to this video on wellness. My name is Kristen Frueh, and I'm making this video for you all as part of the adulting series that ThreeHouse in Cedar Falls is putting on for everybody in our community. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about some general information on wellness and some of the habits that you could put into your life to help yourself be healthier and happier overall. So I'll start with a little introduction. My name, as I said, is Kristen. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Ames, Iowa. I went to Iowa State for my undergrad, and right now I'm completing a master's program in occupational therapy at Allen College in Waterloo. I have worked at ThreeHouse for about a year and a half now, and I love that community, so I'm happy to be a part of this and help out in any way I can. So I'll start with a little announcement as well. I just want you all to know that the information that I have in this video today is based on what I've learned in class in my occupational therapy program and based on reputable sources that will also be in the video at the end. So if you want to look up some more information or delve into that stuff a little bit more, that will be available for you. And as always, feel free to ask questions. I am here to help you find out more information. When you hear the word occupation, you may think of a person's job or the place that a person works, and that is very true. Occupation can be somebody's job. But in the context of occupational therapy, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today to start off the session, an occupation is really any activity or task that a human being can engage in. So an example of this would be playing the piano, cooking, sleeping, going to work, driving, spending time with friends, reading a book, anything that you could really think of. We have a lot of occupations in our lives. Every single day we do countless occupations, and they all connect together. There are 8 areas of occupation. So all of the occupations we do meld together in our everyday lives and affect how we feel, how we act, and how engaging and meaningful our life is. So the first area of occupation is called Activities of Daily Living, and for short that's ADLs. And that area deals with basic skills such as eating, doing self-hygiene like taking a shower, and going to the bathroom. There are also IADLs, which are Instrumental Activities of Daily Living, and those are a little bit more detailed. So that would be something like washing the dishes, mowing the lawn, or taking care of your pets. The third area of occupation would be sleep and rest, which is a very important area that a lot of college students and people with difficult jobs and difficult situations in life really miss out on. So sleep and rest could include sleeping at night, napping, resting your eyes, or any activity that kind of rejuvenates and rests your body. Work is also an area of occupation, and that is just what you think it is. Searching for a job, working at a job you already have, maintaining performance at your job, and even volunteering. We also have education, which would be going to school, learning on your own, and just being curious about the things that you're interested in. Leisure is also a very important area of occupation in our lives. This is doing something enjoyable and relaxing, an activity that you plan, such as swimming, singing in a choir, or cooking for fun. And usually, like I said, it's planned with an organization, but it's non-obligatory. In addition to leisure, we have the occupational area of play. And play is usually something that children mostly participate in. It's spontaneous, it's unplanned, and it's an enjoyable activity such as playing with toys or simple games. So our last area of occupation is social participation, and this is just what it sounds like. This is being part of a group, spending time with friends or an organization, doing some activity even virtually with others. So you can see we have all of those areas of occupation, and everything you do every day is from one of those areas. In occupational therapy, we have this term called occupational balance. And that's something we strive to do every day in our lives. We want to balance all of those areas of occupation so that we can be well and happy. So now I'm going to start talking about wellness. And to define wellness, the Global Wellness Institute says the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. So we have some areas of wellness as well. Those areas include physical, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, vocational, financial, and environmental. We all deal with these areas of wellness and our occupations in our everyday life as adults and as children. But sometimes the areas get mixed up and the roller coaster of life throws something at us that creates a difficulty and makes it hard for us to have a balance. That often leads to difficulties with physical and mental and social function, even emotional function. So an example of this would be you might spend too much time on your schoolwork or tasks because you're so busy and you want to do a good job, but that means you don't take care of your body by exercising or sleeping or drinking water or maybe even going out with some friends and having that social participation. On the flip side of that, an example would be maybe you're spending too much time out with your friends. Maybe you're drinking a little bit too much on the weekends and so you can't get yourself up in the morning to clean the house or finish your assignments or pay your bills. Everybody deals with some sort of occupational imbalance, and all of those things can result in a disability at some point. Occupational imbalance can be the result of choices we consciously make, but it can also be the result of things that we don't have control over, such as complications like depression, anxiety, or burnout, even physical conditions, such as if you break your leg or you have multiple sclerosis. Those all affect our occupational balance. So before I get into some of the things you can do to help heal the areas of wellness or occupation in your life, I'm going to just define each of the areas of wellness so we have a good idea of what each one means. So the first area is physical wellness. This would be your body. Exercising, eating food, water, sleep, and just making general safe choices so that you don't damage your body in some way. Intellectual would be your mind. So growing in knowledge, being curious, responding well to intellectual challenges. The emotional area of wellness deals with the heart and the brain and how those two are connected to make your emotions. So this would be like understanding your own feelings, your values, and your attitudes, and also understanding other people's feelings, values, and attitudes. This is something that is known as theory of mind. If you have good theory of mind, you can kind of look at a person and see by maybe their body language or their tone of voice what they might be feeling and how they're thinking about the situation they are in with you. This area also uses identifying coping skills and helping yourself have a healthy emotional life. There's also the area of social wellness, and this is just interactions with other people. So maintaining healthy relationships, whether those be friendships, family relationships, or romantic relationships, enjoying social interactions, but also being able to set boundaries and being able to care for others and letting others care for you. We also have the spiritual area of wellness. So this deals with your beliefs and finding your purpose, knowing your values and your meaning in life. What are you supposed to do here and why? This could be something like following a religion or just participating in some sort of spiritual activity, even if it's not related to a religion. Some people enjoy feeling spiritual about energies or nature or something of that sort. We can move on now to vocational wellness. Vocational basically means work. So wellness at work. Preparing for and participating in your work, having a work that provides satisfaction and fulfillment, something you're happy to do, something you enjoy doing, and that reflects your values and goals. So that's kind of like finding your purpose. Find something in your work that gives you purpose, and also just contributing your skills to other people. We also have financial wellness. So this is dealing with money. And everybody I have ever known has had some sort of issue with money at some time in their life. So this is a very relevant and important area of wellness. Managing and balancing resources within your means and making decisions about investments is in this area of wellness. making sure that you have boundaries and you set realistic goals and you have money for emergencies. And then just understanding that everybody has a different financial situation and being able to kind of put that into perspective, that some people might have different financial means than you do. The last area here is environmental wellness. And this is inside and outside. So your environment is something that is around you. You could have a physical environment like the living room I'm sitting in right now, or we could be talking about the outside environment like keeping a clean earth and the forests and the oceans. So this includes social, cultural, built or physical, and natural environments. Those all affect your health. What you're around and what you consume affects who you are as a person. So developing your environments in a constructive way is definitely important to keep yourself healthy. All right, so now we really get to start talking about what you can do specifically to help yourself be well in all of the areas of your life. So we'll start with physical wellness. One of the biggest things is to increase your physical activity. That could be through working out, participating in recreational sports, making small changes like taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or even taking stretch breaks and walking to work. Something really small can help you burn calories and help you stay healthy and keep your body limbered up. In relation to this, we want to maintain a healthy weight. And you can do that through eating healthy and whole foods, making a meal plan so you know what you're going to eat each night of the week, having a fitness program, even though small changes make a difference, tracking your progress and showing yourself that you're actually making progress even though it's maybe hard to see or it's going a little slower than you thought. One step at a time is the way to do that. And then, like I said, giving yourself time, knowing that you will see progress and you will see changes if you keep those good habits up. We really want to watch what we put in our bodies. So this could be food, but it also could be harmful substances. You want to have healthy whole foods, junk foods only in moderation, but don't feel bad about splurging sometimes, because sometimes you just have to go get that Starbucks drink or that taco or that ice cream. That's okay too. You also want to look for low fat, low sodium, low added sugars, and foods with more fiber, something that's good for your body. Drinking water is really, really important, especially when you're busy. You want to remember to take a sip of water whenever you can. One of my resources stated that 15.5 cups of water per day is the amount that is healthy for men, and 11.5 cups of water per day is the amount that is healthy for women. You also want to leave out unhealthy and harmful substances like smoking, vaping, taking other kinds of drugs, and drinking too much alcohol. A lot of young adults, especially college students, drink alcohol, and that is okay as long as you have alcohol in moderation and you make sure you stay safe. Here we are again with sleep and rest. That is one of the most important areas of health and wellness that you can focus on. Your body needs sleep and rest to even function. If you don't get the right rest and amount of sleep that you need, your body starts to decline physically and mentally. Adults need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night, and a lot of times that's difficult. I know that I, as a college student, have trouble getting at least 7 hours every single night. A lot of times students have homework that they're doing until 11 p.m., then they go to sleep, but then they have to get up early so that they can catch the bus to go just right back to class. So understandably, that's a very difficult thing to deal with in terms of resting and keeping yourself healthy that way. But some things you can do to help yourself get enough sleep is put in some supplemental naps during your day. Take a little 10-minute nap here and there just to kind of refresh yourself. You can also close your eyes so that you limit that visual information and give your brain a little bit of a rest, even if you don't actually fall asleep. Deep breathing is also very important. You can breathe slowly and it will slow your heart rate and kind of let your body rest and calm down a little bit so that you can be refreshed when you go back to your work. Intellectual wellness. This refers to participating in activities that are scholastic or some sort of academic or educational activity, It could also be culturally or community based. So you want to maintain and increase your intellectual wellness so that you can live a functional and creative, curious life. You want to also have the drive to learn and be curious about new things. So for students, this might look like schoolwork, or maybe reading for fun, debating an issue with a friend, or trying to learn something new like a language, an instrument, maybe how to make a new recipe or how to make a new craft. You could also participate in journaling or even playing games like crossword, board games, games that kind of require your mind to solve a problem. And that way you'll get your mind going and you won't lose those skills that you learned earlier in life. The emotional area of wellness is an area that's really affected for a lot of people based on a lot of different things. So an example of this would be how we are emotionally affected by COVID-19, the losses we're experiencing and the new things that we have to learn how to handle. Those are emotionally draining and difficult for many of us. Oftentimes, it takes mental rehearsal and practice to recover from something that is difficult in your emotional area of wellness. Something that you could focus on doing is starting to have a positive outlook. This is often difficult because many of us are bombarded with negative influences from social media or maybe people around us, and it's really hard to make yourself feel a certain way when you're surrounded by something completely different. To help yourself feel positive and have a positive outlook, you could try to remember the good deeds you've done, or give yourself credit for the progress you make every single day, however small it may feel to you. You can try to forgive yourself for your mistakes and learn from them. So don't dwell on the things that you've made mistakes. Say, I made this mistake, I learned from it, and now I'm going to apply that knowledge to my future, to this task, and have a positive outlook on it. You could also spend more time with your friends and family or people that make you happy and have your best interest in mind. You also want to explore your purpose in life. Work to find that purpose that makes you happy, that makes you feel fulfilled, that you enjoy, regardless of what other people think. Everybody has a different opinion. Everybody has something that they think you should do, but you really just need to find something that works for you and makes you happy. You could also work on being mindful, so having mindful relaxation methods. This could be like deep breathing. I know that I have taken a lot of deep breaths while making this video. It's something kind of new for me. And so what I do is I take a deep breath and I try my best and I start over if I make a mistake. Focusing on what is physically around you can also help you to be present and mindful. So determining something that you can feel or hear or see or smell or taste. Expressing and feeling gratitude is also a cool way to kind of help yourself be mindful of the situation you're in. So you can express gratitude verbally or you could write it in a journal just to kind of get your thoughts out on a page. Taking a nature stroll or taking a minute to think about what you're doing and how something makes you feel is very important in being mindful. And again, relating to COVID-19 and different things in your life that create a loss for you, whether that be losing a person, losing a favorite activity or a privilege, or just losing the way things used to be, it's important to take care of your physical body so that your mental, emotional body can also stay healthy. You want to talk with trusted friends, maybe find a support group, and just know that you don't have to make big changes right away. Little step-by-step changes can help so that you're not pushing down the grief you feel by doing something big and changing something big in your life, but you're actually looking at that grief and working through it little by little each day so that you can be emotionally healthy. On a serious note, if you are experiencing very difficult emotions and you need help, please seek help. There are people out there that are happy to help in any way, whether that be a family member, a friend, a trusted person in your life, or even a counselor or a doctor. Some ways to work on your social wellness would be to build relationships with those around you, whether that be people in your family, at your work, or at your school. You want to find people who share goals with you, habits and activities. So maybe join a focus group, for example, and enjoy a hobby like reading, biking, singing, painting, or even praying like a Bible group. You could take a new class and meet some new people. You could even volunteer, and that's one of my favorites. I'm a very big volunteer person. It adds a lot to your life, and you learn a lot and meet a lot of new people. Traveling is also a great way to have social experiences and build your social wellness. Improving your communication skills is a great way to help your social wellness. You can work on being a good listener, work on your body language, and work on listening to respond to a person rather than react to what a person said. And this is a big one for me. I'm an introvert, and so I know this to be true. It's okay to not be social. You don't have to be social all the time. We all need time to recharge, so don't overdo it. Take some breaks and do something that you enjoy by yourself. Spiritual wellness can deal with our beliefs, our faith, values, morals, principles, the decisions we make, and what we develop throughout our whole lives. You can have spiritual wellness no matter what you believe. So if you believe in God, different gods, the universe, nature, energies, or if you don't believe anything at all, you can still have spiritual wellness. So to have spiritual wellness, you want to explore what you believe and why. You want to ask questions, do research, learn from other people if you're curious about something. Asking questions, exploring, and doing research helps you to determine your specific set of beliefs and values. Once you know what you believe and you're confident in what you want to focus on, you can engage in activities such as meditation and yoga. You can do some continued learning with books, watching shows, and conversations about your religion or your spiritual belief. Many people of the Christian faith have a quiet time, for example, in the morning where they read their Bible and they focus on the Word. You could also be a mentor to other people who are curious about your beliefs. You could teach them and help them have those experiences. You may want to also live out your spiritual beliefs. So this could be through something like work, volunteering, and just activities that you choose to participate in. In the vocational or work area of wellness, we want to have the ability to feel satisfaction and fulfillment from our work. So we want to have a positive perception and attitude or outlook. We want to be ambitious and have a desire for advancement in whatever work we're doing. So something that could help you increase your wellness in this area is selecting a line of work that utilizes your gifts, something special that you can do or something that you have. Your strengths and your skills will help you to feel successful in this line of work. You want something that aligns with your interests and values, and something that you can balance easily, or at least in a healthy way, with your non-work obligations. A lot of times, vocational and work wellness is very difficult when you're first starting out. So if you're just getting out of college, you're figuring out where you're going to live, what your salary is going to look like, what your work's going to look like, what your social life's going to look like. Everything is discombobulated. So it may be difficult at first, but remember to pace yourself. Don't stop until you find something that's meaningful to you in your work, and give yourself time to learn and develop. Here we are at financial wellness. This is a very, very tricky situation for a lot of people, especially college-age students. We have tuition, rent, student loan debt, and oftentimes low-paying jobs while we're in school. So it's important to learn where your money is coming from and where it is going. You can keep a ledger so you can keep track of your spending and earning. You can create a budget to keep yourself within your boundaries so you don't have as many problems in the future with saving and spending money. Something that I like to do is write down the due dates for my bills or something that I have to pay on my calendar so that I don't miss the deadline for those. Giving yourself an emergency savings account for financial security is a great idea. So for example, you can put 10% of each paycheck in this fund so that if something happens, like you get in a car crash or you have some unexpected medical expenses, you have an emergency fund to pay for those until you get back to normal and you can work normally again. If you're dealing with student loan debt or tuition, talk to somebody that knows what they're doing, that has all the right information. So maybe somebody in the administrative office or financial program at your college. This way you know what you're doing before you do it. Loans are easy to accept and difficult to pay off for sure. The last thing on the financial wellness area list is saving, saving, and saving. Save as much money as you can. Do you really need the extra Starbucks drink? Do you really need the new video game controller? Probably not. So put your money toward your bank account, put your money toward basics first, only the things you need, so that you have that extra money for the future when you have a little bit more leeway. When we're talking about environmental wellness, we really want to focus on how we set up our environment. So knowing this, we want to organize our space and our belongings in a way that makes us feel happy, comfortable, and productive. We can remove or relocate unhealthy temptations that we maybe will overindulge in if we see them. So that would be stuff like junk food or video game controllers or even our phones. Sometimes those are hard to stay off of too. Keeping your space clean is also a really good way to kind of keep your spirits up. You can do small things like wiping down the counters each day after you prepare food. You don't have to clean the bathrooms or vacuum the floors or sweep the kitchen floor every single day. Just little things to kind of keep it nice and fresh. That is the main information I have for you today. Last but not least, I also have an activity that you can participate in if you'd like to. For this activity, we're just going to set some goals to help us move forward with our areas of wellness and being as healthy as we possibly can. So the first thing I want you to do is take some time, whether that's with a person or just on your own writing this down, to identify 3 areas of wellness you would like to improve within the next 3 months. So you'll focus on one area of wellness per month. So maybe my areas for the 3 months would be physical, emotional, and social. Once you have those areas picked out, I'd like you to write down or talk to somebody next to you about why you picked those areas. Why are those important to you, and what difference is this going to make in your life if you increase your health and wellness in those areas? I also want you to talk about what you hope the end result will be and what specific things you're going to do to increase your wellness. Are you going to make a routine? Are you going to make a list? Are you going to do some research? I also want you to talk about the supports and resources you might need to be successful. So one of my resources that I usually use is the internet. I do some research on something that I'm trying to learn about, and that helps me make my decisions and make my routines. Once you've talked about your areas of wellness and what you're going to do to be happier and healthier, I want you to think about how you could incorporate your efforts into your daily routine. It's important to integrate those wellness goals into your daily routine, so this way you're not going out of your way to do something extravagant and it just kind of fits in and goes along with the process you usually have anyway. So an example of this would be fitting in a 10-minute walk during your regularly scheduled lunch break instead of sitting on your phone after you finish eating. All right, so that is all I have for you today, and I just want to close by saying remember to be okay with the process. Remember that these changes and your efforts you're putting forward to make yourself healthier and happier and have more wellness, those will take a while, so give yourself grace. You are in control of your choices, and you do have the strength to handle the challenges you face. I also want to say that you are appreciated, so remember to love yourself and enjoy yourself every single day. Thank you.